As being a invert sugar, a liquid sugar, it's going to create moisture in our cake a lot more than just granulated sugar. So that's what the trimoline is. You've probably never heard of it, but there's quite a few invert sugars that we're using now in baking that, and remember what invert sugar does? It pulls moisture in from the air and holds it. So anything made with invert sugar is going to be a little bit moister than sucrose. Okay, so what I've got in here right now, I've got my eggs, my sugar, and my trimoline. We're going to heat this to about 100 to 110, and I'm going to send him over there to do that right now. Before we start, you're going to want to get your pan ready. Now, what I don't want to see is you got, 20 cakes to make, and you're tracing this around and cutting these out one at a time. Okay, what I do want to see, and remember that pen is toxic or can be toxic, so we don't want to ever leave any of that on there. You're going to trace it around, and instead of cutting it out one at a time, you're going to put 5 or 6 sheets together, fold that over again, okay, not quite. And again, and some people do it one more, but I'm okay with just like that. And then you're going to make one cut and 20 fall out instead of circles, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then you've got the rest for the rest of the week. You're set. They just throw them underneath there and pull one out when you need it. Now make sure when you trim that you get rid of the pen. So trim just slightly underneath. And they should fit perfectly in the bottom. Do not cut them oversized so they ruffle along the edge. I need them to lay flat. Okay, we're going to put a little spray in here, sides, and then that kind of sticks it down and holds it in place. There we are, ready to go. Okay, so now you've got all of these cut out for the week, and just stick them down here and use them on a daily basis. Oh, some of them are going to be 8 inches, so you might need to do this twice. Okay, so we have a little melted butter. Somebody run grab a really small mixing bowl over there. I don't like to mix in these because they're square bottom and you can't get it even. What's our temperature?
We're at about 96.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to tell you, do not fold or mix in this bowl. When you have a deep bowl that's narrow, it's really hard to keep trying to stir everything from down here way up here. You'll deflate. So mix in here and then immediately put it into a shallow, wide bowl to do your folding. You will deflate a lot less. All right, go ahead. Let's bring it over.
Yeah, 107 now.
Okay, 107. That's perfect. So just dump it right in there. Yeah. Remember, if I didn't scrape this, I'm getting an extra 1/4 of a cup out of there if I scraped it or didn't scrape it. So always have the right tool. If I try and scrape with this, I'm going to leave half of it in there. So always get out of the bowl what's going to cost me money in the long run. Scrape out your bowl. Now we're going to whip this to ribbon stage. Now this is a small batch, so it'll probably take about 3 minutes. We're going to just crank it. Remember, you cannot overwhip this, or at least I've never been able to. So we're just going to let it go. And in the meantime, we're going to sift or dry. Here's the rest of our dry ingredients, which in this case is wheat starch or potato starch. Potato starch, wheat starch also works. And if you didn't have that, cornstarch. Okay, and our cake flour. Pastry. So you can see it's yellow.
So you add cornstarch to it even if it's cake flour?
This is actually pastry flour.
Yes. If you didn't have that and you just made it without, it would still be a useful cake, but it wouldn't be quite as delicate. But it's not absolutely necessary. I just like the. Okay, so I'm going to stop that in a second and show you. It looks like it's already been going like 2 minutes. We're getting close. A bigger batch can take up to 10 minutes. Don't rush it. I'll lift it up to you.
Jeff, do you need the other one?
Yes, please. Okay, so you see what that looks like? Really, really thick and white and fluffy. And you see how it's falling in a rope and it's not dripping? We're pretty much there. I could whip that for 3 or 4 minutes and it would still be fine. I'm going to go ahead and let it whip for just a second while I get my station set up. But this is bare minimum. I've just barely hit this stage. Don't take it off any before that. Okay, so now I've got my dry. And here's my melted butter. I'm going to put my melted butter here. And I just don't like folding in these cups because they're square and you'll never get it folded well. So always move your stuff to a round container. Don't try and go get square containers and try and get them. All right, so let's scrape this out. Into a bowl that is big enough to start and end with. Don't get little bowls and then add a little bit and go, oh, I won't hold the next stage and put it in the next size bigger, and then when you go add the next stage, you get another bowl. Pick a bowl that is big enough to finish the entire product in. And it doesn't really hurt to change bowls, but you're going to be washing dishes all day.
And that hurts.
And nobody likes to do that. Okay, so here's our ribbon stage. You can see what that looks like, nice and fluffy. We're going to sift right over the top. Now, I pre-sifted. You absolutely have to. As long as you're doing this, you're going to be in good shape. Folding is not, a lot of people turn like this. No, it's one side to the other, right across the bottom and up and over the top. The bowl spins to you. Okay, add a little bit more. And it doesn't have to be entirely worked in when you add the next amount. See, look, I've got a little bit of dry in there. That's perfectly fine. Don't overmix it. And if it doesn't go all the way through, just press it with your hand. If anything falls out right here, we'll just add it right back in. Now, look, still got a lot of dry in there, but I've got this to fold in. So I'm going to now take a little bit of this, and you can use a whisk or anything you want. It doesn't matter. Just incorporate it in. Now you see it's deflated, right? I'd rather deflate that than that. So now we're going to scrape that back in. And that helps suspend it. And now I'm getting the rest of my dry ingredients mixed in. That prevents me from over whipping it or over mixing it by not getting it smooth between each addition. Go right through the middle, make sure there's no dark streaking. We're going to add right in here and put it immediately into the oven. So this is a 9-inch, and I think it was set for an 8-inch because this is your recipe that you're using. I think it's going to be fine. All right, go ahead. Now you see the large bubbles that are already forming. I don't know if you can see them, but that means it's deflating. It's already deflating, so you're out of time already. Okay, I need one more mixing bowl. What the heck? Here we go. Cream of tartar. Okay, now we're going to walk you through just get me 2 bread pans. Small ones, so if you can. I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to walk you through the angel food now. So that was quick and easy. You see how quick that was? That took 5 minutes.
What cake was that?
That was a gym one. Now these are not warm yet.
No,
I'm just going to warm them up just for a second.
They're a little bit frozen still.
But remember, with it just egg whites only, I just need to take the chill out of them.
I know, it's tiny amounts.
I'm happy to see it smell like.
And I need another whip, Dee. Another whip.
Whip? Yep.
this up to about 90 degrees now. On the egg whites, it's not as big of a deal that they get up to 110. We just got to take the chill off of them. All right, so this is probably up to about 90. It feels just barely cold to the touch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through the appropriate stages of meringue first. We're going to over whip one, and we're going to do one correctly, just so you can see the difference. So we have flour. Okay, this is cream of tartar. Where does cream of tartar go in? Why do we use cream of tartar? Egg whites are alkaline. One of the few alkaline products that we have in the bake shop, and cream of tartar stabilizes them so they don't overwhip as fast. They need to go in somewhere towards the beginning. If we add them at the end, what's the point? It's a stabilizer. So we want to add them when it gets to what we call the foamy stage. And I'll show you that in just a second. Eve, start warming those egg whites up.
So we can make strawberry shortcake.
This is not shortcake.
Growing up, we put strawberries and cream on it.
No, that's not shortcake. That's
Okay, sorry, chef.
Okay, so have a look. You see what that looks like? That's called the foamy stage. We don't have any, it's just blobbing, no peaks or anything or foaming. Great big giant bubbles. This is the foamy stage. This is where we need to add the cream of tartar. We're going to add our cream of tartar in now. And we're going to bring it up to soft peak. Once it gets to soft peak, then we're going to be adding our sugar a little bit at a time. Right, so how do we know when we're at soft peak? If it tips over just a little bit, we know we're good. We're going to start and it overwhips really fast, so stop it early. Now we're going to turn it down. We don't need it on high anymore. We're going to finish it. I'm going to add a little bit and let it mix. A little bit and let it mix. And the salt can go into it. Salt's neither here nor there, go in anytime. Okay. Now let's check it. Soft peak, right? Don't do this or you go, oh, it's underwhipped. Lift it up slowly, flip it over, soft peak. Okay? Everybody gets confused because they go, oh, it's still too soupy. I'll put it back in and whip it. It's there. So you can see it mounds, and if you pull up slowly, it peaks, but if you pull it quickly, it doesn't. That's soft peak. Okay, now, I need another bowl. Now we have our the rest of our sugar and our flour, and we're just going to sift that in over the top. So we're going to move it into another pan.
Use spatula.
Spatula. Because if I get any fat in this, it's not good for egg whites. So
How warm you want these? Is 90 all right?
90's fine. I just need the chill taken off. Now, I'm not putting any flavoring in this because it's just a demo. So, right now, if I was adding, you're putting orange zest and some shaved chocolate in there. We would be adding that interchanging with the flour. And I'm not going, normally I would line this, I'm not going to just because this is just a demo. But you would normally line these pans, possibly, not the sides, just the bottom. And remember, if anything falls through, put it back in. remember, folding is up and over the top and spinning the bowl. It is not that. Turning it over. That doesn't hurt anything. It just slows you way down. Okay, once we get it all mixed in, it's nice and no dry powdery. No.
You guys know what you can grease this with?
Yes.
Yeah,
I don't like these scoop ones because they're hard to clean your spatula with. But yeah, it's all right. Okay, so there's this one. Now that's ready to go. That took 5 minutes too. So, you know, make sure, and I'm just going to reuse this because I don't really need to clean it because there's no fat in it. So now here's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at over whipping the egg whites and what it looks like when you over whip. And that'll happen really fast. So
is that a good amount to make today, or do you want to make more?
no, you're making one.
No,
Yours is going to be the equivalent of 2 of these.
that one goes to the oven immediately too, right?
Yeah. Now be careful, when it looks light and fluffy in here, it's probably overwhipped. So I'm going to let this, look, see it looks nice and fluffy, kind of like whipped cream. How do we know if we've overwhipped it? So if you see that, you go, I'm just going to throw that away and start over. This is going to be fine. This will wait. And I bought you frozen egg whites, so you don't have to crack anymore. Do not proceed with any cake that looks like this. Do not proceed with any mousse that looks like this. The only thing, if this happens, you can still use is a buttercream.
So you can't fix that?
No, it's over whipped, and the egg whites are denatured. There's no way to bring them back. Once they've been overstretched, there's no way to unstretch them. It's like when you cook eggs and it denatures the protein in them. There's no way to uncook them. This is the same thing. Okay, so we're going to put this in this bowl right here. We're going to still go ahead and pop it in the oven. Just so, oh wait, I didn't get my sugar done yet. And see how fast that happened? That happened in like 45 seconds. So. So you're looking for 2 danger signs: soupy meringue and curdled, chunky, broken meringue. I want to be careful about that. Now, I added the sugar in, and it's pulled it back a little bit. Look, it doesn't matter. Whether it looks a little better or not, it's still denatured and broken. Okay, it's still not going to rise up like we want it to rise.
Looks good though.
But it's not. Don't be fooled. Okay, so now we're just going to quickly get this in there, and we'll pop this in the oven too. And and I'm going to cut that genoise because you probably never tried genoise. Anybody here ever tried? What we're going to do is we're going to try it by itself, and we're going to soak it with a little syrup, so that you can see what it's really supposed to be like. Because some of you will go, what? This is not a cake. Do we have any simple syrup in the fridge?
We do. We have several flavors of simple syrup.
Let's soak this genoise when it
flavor
comes
you
out,
want?
and
Just
we'll all
regular?
just give it a little try. Same thing with souffle. Remember in the first semester you made souffles, right? Soft peak only. Why? Because it rises taller.
That is so funny. Oh well. Bunch of examples.
the minute you stop seeing dry, you're done. Don't overmix. A lot of people just stand here stirring, waiting while they're tarting. Don't be tempted. The minute it's done, it's done.
Otherwise it's later, right?
Yep. Now, will this still be edible? I guarantee you there are grocery chains that are selling this as we speak, but I just want you to see the difference. Okay, so I have not tried Walmart's, but I know that Macy's does it on a regular basis. So. But there's no excuse for buying angel food cake when it's like 4 ingredients and it takes 5 minutes. There's no excuse for ever buying it again, right? You can just whip it out. Everybody has eggs, flour, and sugar.
That's my favorite cake.
I love it.
But I have some of
Okay, so there are the 2 methods that you will be doing today. The other method that I'm going to demo is I'm not going to demo the creamy method because you should be familiar with that. But I am going to demo the chiffon because it is such a pain. Now, if you do get lumps, remember before you fold in your meringue, you need to show it to me. If you do get lumps, you got to put it in the Robocoup. Here again, if you're making 100 of these cakes and you're over Robocouping 4 cups at a time, the chef will kick you out. So, can it be fixed? Yes, but I cannot have you leaving the program rely on our crutch like that. So we need to do it correctly first. And then if every now and then you go, oh crap, I've got lumps, but I need you to leave the program doing it correctly. So go ahead and mise en place those 2 recipes. By then, one of our cakes will probably